Welcome to Jesús Manuel Mena Garza Photography, Video and Audio. Today I'm going to be giving my opinion on various lenses, tripods, and cameras you should get for different scenarios, professional, student, and hobbyist, okay? First of all, I'm going to be talking about students. If you're a student in photography at whatever school on the East Coast, West Coast, Europe, wherever you're at, I would first make a visit to the university and go in the photography department, the department that you're going to be studying photography in, and see what kind of lenses they have. If they have a bunch of Nikon lenses and just a little bit of Canon lenses, you might want to get a Nikon camera so you can borrow the different lenses if they have those available. If they have a bunch of Hasselblad lenses, which I remember back in 1970, I was going to the university and I go, they have a lot of Hasselblad lenses. So I bought a Hasselblad so I could use their Hasselblad lenses. Nobody else was using Hasselblad. Everybody else was using the Nikon stuff. So I got to use a lot of Hasselblad stuff. So I did a lot of photography with my Hasselblad. So there is the caveat. You go to the university, you knock on their door, and you talk to the professors, and you talk to the people in the photo department and the lab and stuff like that. The digital lab, not the chemical lab. You go in there and you find out, hey, what do you have available? Let me see. Oh, we have one Nikon lens and 34 Canon mirrorless lenses. So you go, oh, you have a telephoto, a 500 millimeter Canon. Can I borrow that when I'm a student? Oh yeah, you can borrow that. Can I borrow that zoom lens that's 70 to 200, 2.8, the latest iteration of that? Can I borrow that? Oh yeah, you can borrow that. As a student, just give me your little student number and we can let you borrow it. You can go out taking pictures and stuff like that. So that's an easy decision. The school has Nikon. The school has Hasselblad. The school has Canon. The school has, whatever brand. Sony, for example. You figure that out first as a student. Again, you visit the campus. You try to develop a positive relationship with the folks, the technicians, and you learn as much as you can. And you introduce yourself, of course, to the professor. Say, hi, I'm a new student coming in next semester. I'm very excited. So that's students. Let's go to YouTubers. What kind of camera do you want as a YouTuber? I highly recommend, if you're a vlogging, walking and talking person, you want to have that camera like this, and you're just photographing yourself. Hey, I'm in San Jose, California, and I'm walking around. Or I'm in Bangor, Maine, I'm walking around. I'm in Paris, walking around. You want that walking and talking camera. And that's the DJI Pocket number 3. Of course, eventually there's going to be Pocket number 4 and number 5. But that's the Osmo Pocket, okay? The DJI Osmo Pocket. Very nice, very high quality. I currently have the second iteration, and it's a very nice camera, and it shoots 4K, etc., etc., etc. Of course, you can get all kinds of additional things to add to that camera. You can add little filters, neutral density filters, wide angle filters, lenses and stuff like that. You can have a lot of fun. Do you need a tripod? Not necessarily, because it's stabilized. You can just hold it, and it's just a little camera like this. It doesn't weigh much. Just put it in your pocket. That's what they call it, a pocket. So you're walking and talking YouTube videos. Perfect is the DJI Osmo Pocket number 3, okay? If you're doing streaming videos, you can use a webcam. There's some very nice webcams. The prices of high quality 4K HD webcams have gone down precipitously. You can get it for $200 right now, for $200. Very nice, high quality webcam that you can connect to your computer. Just get the latest software and you're doing fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And a lot of times these webcams, you can go wider or more tally, and of course you can do all kinds of mods to it. You make the lighting change, etc., etc. So super high quality, especially for streaming. A lot of the software out there only limits you to 1080p. If you spend a lot more money, if you spend some money, you can go 4K. But then again, what's the bandwidth that you have in your studio space? What kind of throughput do you have for your Wi-Fi and internet? That's a big decision. Hey, what's that? That's a hair. Where did that come from? So that's one option for vlogging and also for streaming. You have a lot of options. And of course, there are different cameras, small cameras now that you just plug them in to your laptop. Camera, cable, goes to your laptop, and it starts streaming. Wow! And of course, there's a lot of cameras doing that, from budget to rather expensive. Of course, you just want something of a budget nature, simple nature, maybe with a small zoom lens, and that's perfectly fine. And then you just need a basic tripod to put that on top. You don't need something expensive. You don't need to spend $500 for a tripod for that setup. It's just going to stay there, and it's not holding a gigantic amount of weight. Keep it simple and inexpensive. Okay, we're going to talk about next, hobbyist travel. That's when you're, basically taking photographs for yourself, to share with your friends. You do some vanity, books, and you do some vanity exhibits at the local gallery, at the library, and stuff like that. A small gallery in your small community, or just the neighborhood gallery. Hey, these are my photographs that I shot while I was in Lesotho. And that's fantastic. You show the photographs, and people go, hey, very nice. Let's have some cheese. Let's have some wine. And I want to shake your hand. Those are very nice photographs. So vanity exhibits and vanity books. And also for your sharing with your friends and family. Again, you may sell these prints for, $100, $200 if everything works out very nicely. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice hobby to have, doing hobbyist traveling. The bonus of traveling, plus taking pictures, and then you have a little show, a little book, and you share it with your friends, family, neighborhood. Very nice. And once in a while, you cash in on something, a photograph that you say, hey, this is actually fantastic, and people want to see it, and they get, and maybe become a part of a bigger show. Very nice. So what kind of camera do you want? It's all according to your budget. A lot of folks, I were cruising around San Francisco when I lived in San Francisco, and I'd see people with their Leica cameras right here. They're $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 cameras with a very nice lens. It's basically a piece of jewelry for some people that are traveling. Here, it shows my social status, my expensive Leica camera. And of course, I'm dressed pretty good, and I'm coming out of a very expensive hotel. Very nice, very nice. Of course, there are other options now, smaller options that go for around $1,500 from the folks at, Lumix. Lumix has an S9 now, I think it's called now. It's a very small camera. It even includes, if you want, a simple zoom kit lens. All for under $2,000, apparently. And of course, there are all kinds of cameras out there, full frame, APS, etc., that are available for travel photography. And of course, the number one travel camera currently on the market is a smartphone, because it saves it to the internet, saves it in your file system, and it can take absolutely very nice photographs to share and even exhibit, the small galleries perfectly fine. I remember being in LA, they actually had a gallery for smartphone photographs. Very nice. Times are a-changing, okay? So next one is from hobbyist travel to hobbyist pro-urban. I've delineated between urban and nature, okay? For urban photographers, you want something that's for stock photography, for documentary photographs. And the camera that I recommend is a high megapixel camera, something like the Sony A7R or something similar. You decide if you want 60 megapixels or you want 45 or 40 megapixels. There are a lot of options out there. There are even some medium format cameras available from different manufacturers that are even 100 plus. Yes, 100 plus megapixels. So the more megapixels, the better, because you're going to be showing those if you're a travel pro. If you're exhibiting these photographs, you're going to make a big print. You're going to make a 4 by 5 foot print, maybe a 4 by 6 foot big print, gigantic. because that's what people value nowadays. It used to be you can just put up an 8x10 photograph and everybody goes, wow, that's pretty nice. But now, if you look at a lot of galleries and what the prints that are selling are the big ones, the gigantic ones, the 4-foot wide, the 6-foot wide photographs. Again, and the only way you can get those big prints with a lot of detail is by having a super high megapixel count. Some cameras will take several photographs and you can compile them either in Photoshop or within the camera, and you can get some very high resolution photographs. So there's a lot of options. Again, the lenses you would use, for this situation would be a wide angle lens typically, or a wide to tele zoom, like a 24 to 70 2.8. That's a very nice lens for travel, I think. And some people want to do lightweight. They just want to have a small camera, and they just want to put a wide lens and call it street photography and take some photographs. With that, you have that option. It's all a matter of what your style is. I'm not saying there's only one style of travel professional photography. There's a whole range, of styles, from street to actual people that want to photograph infrastructure and people with a lot of detail. Something grainy to something highly nuanced. You have options. Of course, if you're going to take a tripod, you want something super lightweight, a small carbon fiber tripod. You're only putting a 35, 40, 80 megapixel camera on there, small mirrorless. It should be no problem. Hopefully, okay? Then you have the travel pros for nature. That's the big change for this. The major change is, you still have high megapixel camera, but from wide angle cameras, you want wide angle plus a super telephoto to photograph that bear, that elk, that tiger, that panda bear in the wild, etc. Whatever you're photographing, that lion, and you're photographing the Serengeti or the Rockies or the Matterhorn, you're photographing them, you have options. Telephoto, get really tight shots, or wide angle, you want that whole, the village, the mountains, the valley, everything in there. And of course, high megapixels, you put it on a nice carbon fiber, $300, $400, $500 tripod. You have it in there, the Arca-Swiss connection, piece of cake. And you snap photograph, click. And you move it slightly, and they go, oh yeah, click. Or you take multiple ones, you bracket them, click. And you do it in Photoshop. You put them all together and you make some very high dynamic range photographs. Very nice. This is the Travel Pro Nature. Shooting animals, shooting landscapes, and shooting a little bit of infrastructure, but primarily landscapes, the natural environment, and the animals out there. I'm not talking about your party animals, okay? So Studio Pro, these are people photographers. I used to do a lot of that back in Silicon Valley. I had my own little photo studio. And I had my 500 ELM on a tripod that I still have. It's a heavy duty tripod. I didn't move that tripod. This tripod was in the same spot. I knew exactly for a headshot what to do, and piece of cake. And for wide shots, I just changed it to a 50 millimeter instead of the 150. And it worked out pretty good. So but typically today, if I was to do be a studio photographer today, I would not require a high resolution Hasselblad camera, a high resolution like that A7R. I was talking about that Sony. No way, Jose. You don't need that high megapixel count. Because why? Why don't you need all those megapixels to do portraits? Because people get mad. People get mad when they see all the little crevices, little wrinkles. They don't like that. I went to a conference once and I took a lot of photographs for an exhibition at a university, and then I put up these photographs. People got mad, especially older women, because it showed all their crevices. Because I'm a documentary photographer in this situation, but I know that in studio photography you want to make people glamorous. I once photographed a woman that was large, and I shrunk this. I made her skinnier, and people go, "Wow, she looks fabulous." And can you do that to me? And we're doing that in Austin, Texas. And people were like, wow, you made her look really good. And I said, thank you very much. So you can make people in software now look absolutely fabulous. Just a couple pushes of a button in Photoshop and the person looks amazing. The skin is cleared up and it's beautifully done. And people want to look, they have these visions of themselves. You know, unrealistic visions of themselves looking absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So you don't need all that resolution because in Photoshop you're going to tweak it a little bit and you can, you know, interpolate a little bit and you just call it good. And people are going, thank you very much. I look great. I like how it looks. You did a little adjustments here, little adjustments there. You did very nice lighting. The background looks absolutely fantastic. And I can put this on my wall in my office saying, hey, that's me right there. I look fabulous. And then you look in the mirror and you go, what's the minor differences? Minor differences. So for a Studio Pro, you do not need a high-res camera. You know, 24, 36 megapixel camera is perfectly fine. And of course, you need a sturdy tripod to put that camera on. You just go there and you stand to the side of it. You already have it cropped. You already know where they're at. And you just go sit to the side of it and you go, click. Okay, move a little bit to the left. Click. Move a little to the right. Click. Smile. Click. Don't smile. Do a half smile. Oh my God, that's very sexy. They laugh. Stuff like that. You can do that, okay? Studio Pro, from Studio Pro people to Studio Pro product. Now you need resolution. Now you need to get all the details, all the nuances of that phone or that computer or that piece of cloth or that car, etc., etc. All those products, those expensive products, that that piece of industrial equipment. They want detail. They want to be able to make it, big to put on their office in the entrance. Say, hey, that's our 2000 XR Caterpillar tractor. It's right there, and you go, wow, look at all that stuff. It has a lot of bolts and stuff. It's yellow. Wow, it's fantastic. And people want high resolution photographs. I'm talking, 80 megapixel, 40 megapixel at least, okay? 100 megapixel would be absolutely fabulous. And of course, you have different lenses for different situations. For that big product, you need a wide angle lens if you only have limited space. And for other situations, you can do it with a tele and compress things, and etc., etc. A tripod would be fantastic. A tripod would be fantastic. And of course, if you're shooting a lot of product shots, you're doing a lot of stuff going to places. I remember going to different high-tech companies and shooting products. Back in the 80s and 90s, I would do a lot of that stuff. I would go to their location and shoot the products, along with shooting the CEOs and all that stuff in Silicon Valley. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I did that a lot. So I got a lot of experience doing that. Again, you need high megapixels. Back in the day, I was using a lot of film. I was using digital cameras back in the 80s. But today, high megapixel, super valuable in shooting product shots. Now we're talking about fine art photography. If you're a fine art landscape photographer, you want to show your work in a gallery or put it in a prestigious book. You're going to be part of a group exhibition or just your own exhibition. You develop a reputation for traveling and affording to go to these locations and shooting these absolute fantastic photographs of infrastructure and landscape. Again, mucho, a lot of megapixels is better. A wide angle lens is better. One thing to understand is that certain lenses are designed for 20, 16, 24 megapixel cameras. Be they full frame or APS or micro four thirds or whatever. They're designed for low resolution images. So you got to do your research. There are certain sites that do reports on the quality of certain lenses. Like when I bought my Nikon here, I found that certain lenses were not as sharp. So I ended up buying the 50-1.4 because it was sharp. It could handle the megapixels of that camera. Again, higher megapixels require higher quality lenses, okay? If you buy a low quality lens and you put on a high megapixel camera, it's gonna look a little fuzzy. Maybe not to you, but to a discerning individual. Maybe you're a discerning individual. You got to buy a high quality lens for a camera that shoots a lot of megapixels. Just saying. Just saying. You got to spend the money, okay? So for landscape photographer, high megapixel camera, a lightweight but sturdy tripod because you're going to be camping up the mountains. Pum, 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 pum. Pum, 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 pum. I know that the Sony A7R, I love that camera, by the way. I love those. I think it's the 5, I think it is now. I think the 6 is coming out, or the 20, I don't know. Has a lot of megapixels, and they have a smaller version of it that's available also. So you can buy a lot of cameras. Sometimes you don't want to carry that gigantic camera, but you have to be plan ahead. You have to actually pre-visualize. You're going to a certain spot. You're going, oh yeah, I'm going to need a 20 millimeter, lens for that. It can be the 2.8, that's perfectly fine. And it's a very sharp lens, and I'm going to put it on this camera, and I'm going to carry that tripod. Just in case I see some wildlife, maybe I'll take that 500 millimeter. But that's going to add a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. Just the camera with one lens in that lightweight carbon fiber tripod, that's small, but sturdy enough. It should be perfectly fine. But if you imagine there's going to be some wildlife that you may want to photograph in that valley from a distance, of course, you may all of a sudden, just from that backpack weighing this much, it goes down. It just weighs a lot. You're just like, oh my God, that's a lot of stuff I'm carrying. So wide lenses, sharp lenses, etc., etc. This has been, who is this? This is Jesús Manuel Mena Garza. I photographed a lot of wildlife in the past. Not really. I haven't photographed much wildlife. I photograph a little bit of wildlife, just a tiny bit. Mostly infrastructure, people, and landscapes. With about 90% of the photographs that I've taken and have exhibited and shown and have had published are people, groups, and those sort of activities. Okay, so I'm pretty much a documentary photographer. Again, this is Jesús Manuel Mena Garza for Jesús Manuel Mena Garza Photography, Video, and Audio. You can check out my photographs. Look at my photographs. Give me your opinion on my photographs, and I have a comment section on my website, jmmgarza.com. I've been taking photographs for over 50 years, since I was in San Jose, California as a child, back in the mid-60s. Hope you enjoy photography. I enjoy photography quite a bit, and again, these opinions expressed in this video are mine alone. The range of photographers out there is amazing, There's a lot of different kinds of photography. If you enjoy photography, whatever way you want to take photographs, congratulations. I enjoy taking photographs too. This has been Jesús Manuel Mena Garza. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I would greatly appreciate it. Leave your kind and friendly comments below, abajo. Again, muchísimos gracias, and ring the bell for future notifications. From Fort Worth, Texas, this has been Jesús Manuel Mena Garza. Gracias. Adiós. Bye-bye.